Greetings, my name is Tommy the Keyblade Master and welcome to my channel. Now a few months ago I did a review on Tales of Symphonia. Now it's time for me to take a look at the Dawn of the New World and its HD upgrade that the PS3 got. Now I stated through some bad Photoshop thumbnails that I hate this game and its characters. After replaying it after a few years, do I still hate Emil and Marta enough to shoot them? No, they're no longer the worst bunch of Tales characters in a Tales video games. Take a bow, Sore, and the rest of the crew from Disteria. You've actually managed to beat Emil and Marta on my dislike of you. Mainly because I've now actually learned to appreciate that Emil being an annoyance is still better than Sore boring me into a coma. With that said, this game is still on the bottom of the Tales series. It has numerable problems, both in its story and in its gameplay. So without further ado, let's take a look at Tales of Symphonia 2, Dawn of the New World. Alright, Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World is another RPG, so I'm going to be doing another video, doing a story analysis, so I don't bore you here, and I will warn you that story analysis this time is going to contain a lot of spoilers. In order to get into why this game ticks me off so much, I have to go pretty much through everything, including the Shyamalan-esque big twist towards the end of the game, as well as some of the events at the very end of the game, in order for you to understand why this whole game is a disappointment. But if you want to know the basics of the story, the game follows a boy named Emil whose hometown of Palmacosta and family were killed by Lloyd Irving, the hero of the first game. Yes, Lloyd somewhere around the way decided to flip out. Anyways, he meets a young girl named Marta who's on the quest to awaken the monster known as Ratatosk. It seems that Ratatosk's job is to control nature and the weather around the world. Without him awake, the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket unless something is done quickly, so she's on the quest to set it right, and the fact that she has Ratatosk's core in her forehead means she wants to get it done right away. Emil agrees to become a Knight of Ratatosk, which gives him a new costume as well as a second personality in battle, because Emil is a wuss regularly. No, I'm not kidding. He kinda wusses out on everything.
Sorry.
What do you think you're doing walking in front of me?
Sorry.
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, one of the things I said in my New Year's resolution video, I'm going to be changing the way I do my YouTube reviews. No longer will the graphics be the second segment, but rather the gameplay. I need to skip right to that, because that's what people want to know. How does the game play? What are my thoughts on the game? Well, Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World has a whole bunch of problems with its gameplay. Okay, let's start off with one of the biggest problems I have. After you explore the town of Balloon from the first game, because that's where this game actually lets you get started, and you find out that Emil is a complete wuss, Emil finally decides to venture out of town for the first time, and you're like, oh boy, let's explore this new world that Lloyd regenerated. It's going to be fun exploring this now combined world. What the hell? You're kidding me, right? The overworld for this new game is a main freaking menu. There's no exploration at all. It's just select your destination from a list, and the list is only towards open areas at present, and watch Emil walk to them on an overworld map. There is no explorations, there's no monster encounter. That's all this is. It's bullcrap. Complete and utter bullcrap. And just the lack of exploration knocks this game's enjoyment down several points. In fact, this whole system reeks of a word that starts with the letter L.
Laudacious.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of lazy. So there is no overworld, and the only place you get to really battle and explore are the dungeons. A lot of them which are repeats from last game, might I add. But the good news is at least the combat is still kind of fun. For the most part, it retains what a Tales battle system should be. It's pretty much more of an action combat game. You basically have regular attacks which fill TP, then you have arts that allow you to use TP to do more stronger attacks, and of course if you level up, gain arcane arts, and collect enough skills, you can also perform the all-powerful mystic arts. So the battle system is fun, and the customization is pretty basic and kept simple, which in some ways I'll take over this. But the game's problems still leak into its combat system as well, unfortunately. Okay, here's the problem. Along the way, Emil will have to play Pokémon Trainer. And no, I'm not kidding. You will have to catch and train monsters in this game. To do it, you have to fulfill certain conditions in the battle, and then it's a 50-50 chance you'll catch one of the monsters after the battle, and it's yours to level up, train, and even evolve. I don't know if to say this game uses the system too much or not enough, but it's a big problem. And the problem with it is simply this. The monsters cannot use items, nor do they count as an actual character in battle. If both Emil and Marta die, it's game over, even if you have these monsters on the field. So naturally, you're going to want to use the Symphonia cast members that you will recruit along the way. Unfortunately, the Symphonia cast members won't level up through EXP, can't have their equipment or titles changed at all, at least through regular means. So it basically just leaves you kind of with Emil and Marta as the only characters that you can feel like you can control and customize. And if you go, okay, well, once I get the Symphonia characters, I'll just ditch the monster training, you're going to wind up getting screwed towards the end when you're faced with a really, really tough boss battle where you're forced to use the monsters. The whole system just seems rigged against you, and that it's broken and out of balance because of this. I would have rather have you start recruiting these Symphonia characters earlier on and have them stay in your party rather than be switched out by the story all the time than deal with these freaking monsters. Alright, I got one final thing to say about this PS3 version, and that it does have slightly better controls than the Wii version. The Wii version forced gamers to use the Wii Remote and Nunchuck combination, all because the Sorcerer's Ring just used the Wii Remote's ability to point at the screen in order to use it. Yeah, it was kind of crammed in motion controls, but at least it wasn't crammed into the point where it made the combat system feel sucky or exhausting to play. But still, the Wii Remote and Nunchuck weren't meant to be held on for hours at a time like you would when you're playing an RPG, so it got a little uncomfortable, and the fact that I couldn't just plug in a GameCube controller really did bring the enjoyment level down a little bit on the Wii version. This PS3 version, you're going to be using the PlayStation 3 controller all the time, and the Sorcerer's Ring's just mapped to a shoulder button, and you just use an analog stick to kind of point the cursor. It's a much better feel than the old Wii Remote, in my opinion, and I like it a lot better. Alright, this game is an HD upgrade from the original standard definition Wii version. So how did they manage to do in this HD version? Well, not as good as they could. Don't get me wrong, they got rid of some of the jaggy edges and smoothed out the looks from the original Wii version. But one of the things I noticed in a lot of Wii's games is that they had kind of this flushed out color. They don't look as bright and crisp as even PS2 games, and Namco and Bandai didn't do anything about this. This game just seems to lack color, especially in its characters, and I noticed even in this HD upgrade that the colors aren't very bright and vibrant, and yes, that does kind of tamper down my experience of this game as well. I don't think the graphics are as pretty as other Tales games. I don't think they're even as pretty as they were in the original, despite some better character models. The music in this game is pretty good, and yeah, it borrows a lot of its tracks from the original game. But when the original game music was as good as it was, I don't really mind this being reused. As for the English dub goes, it's pretty hit and miss. Oh, screw you, weeaboos. Now, one of the things I do not like about the criticism of this game is people often say that what went wrong is just with the English voice cast, and that's where this game's story problems lie in. No, they lie in the characters. To me, this is just as annoying and grating in Japanese.
また来た。君、逃げる。戦う。男ならはっきりする。
as it is in English.
It's not over yet. Are you gonna fight with me or run? Come on, you're a man. Speak up.
Marta still annoys me in both voice clips, and it's not because of her voice actor. Alright, the two voices for the main characters belong to Johnny Young Bosch and Laura Bailey. Johnny Young Bosch is the only voice actor I could think of that could really voice this Emil character, being able to go from weak Emil to this violent Ratatosk mode and still sound like it's coming from the same person takes talent. And he's of course voiced things like Bash the Stampede in Trigun and Ichigo Karasaki in Bleach, so he's got a long line of anime titles. Laura Bailey's played in animes like Soul Eater and Full Metal Alchemist, so she's got a long line of titles too. So these two voice actors, and these don't annoy me, it's just their characters. And the fact that they play some of these characters' parts so well kind of just adds to the annoyance, ironically. Another problem I have with the English voiceover in this game comes with the returning character, with the exception of Kratos, who just really handles opening narration and has a quick 1-minute cameo scene late in the game that I do believe can be skipped. He's completely absent, so excuse me if I don't really count him as a returning character. And then Colette. All the other voices have been changed, and most of the voice changes have been good. I mean, having Troy Baker come in as Regal was a good change. So for the most part, the changes are okay. However, Scott Minville is so memorable as Lloyd that having him have a different voice actor, plus the change in Lloyd's character for most of the game, really just throws you off for a loop.
Mama Costa, why did you have to kill all of them?
Not again. With Paul Macosta.
Like I said, with Lloyd's more antagonistic attitude, his new voice actor just kind of fails at playing Lloyd in this. The shame of it is, in Tales of the Radiant World, I do believe is the PSP title, where they have Lloyd acting more like Lloyd in the original game, this new voice actor does a pretty decent job, but with all the changes to the characters, he just kind of is destined to fail right from the start, and it's kind of a shame. I wish they got Scott Minville to come back to do this role, because he is what made Lloyd Lloyd, and it would have made the whole turn a little bit more believable. Anyways, I give Tales of Symphonia Dawn of the New World a 2 out of 5. It's got a decent battle system to it. It's got some decent voice actors, but some annoying characters. Unfortunately, the story's a bit of a mess, especially when you get to the twist, and I'll cover that in my own story analysis here in another video, and I warn you heavily of plot spoilers in that. But the story didn't do anything for me either. That said, unlike Zestiria, I did get a few laughs. Also, there's no overworld in this game, and that's also a really big sticking point with me. There is absolutely no exploration in this game. It has an entirely linear feel. It's almost Final Fantasy XIII in the amount of linear feeling that I got from this game, just because you're only pushed in a certain direction. Yes, there are a few side quests if you go back, but they're never really pointed out, and you never really get the feeling that you need to go back and do these things. Overall, this game is a bit of a disappointment, especially compared to the original. So do I recommend getting it? No. If you own a Wii or a PS3, do not seek this game out on its own to play. That said, it's part of the Tales of Symphonia collection, which comes with the original game, which is definitely worth buying, getting, and playing through. And if you have that, you enjoyed the original, it might be worth while giving this game a shot. You might disagree with me on your opinions, but I was overly disappointed in this game. I put it as one of the worst Tales games ever made. And just in case you're wondering which one I consider worse, Zestiria or Dawn of the New World? The answer is Dawn of the New World is the worst title. While Zesteria's characters did bore me to tears, Zesteria still had a large overworld to explore and a lot of things to do, a lot of questing to do. This game gives us absolutely no overworld. It's a main menu for crying out loud. Its battle system is somewhat fun, but it's not really deep. And then you have that Pokemon aspect on the side, which the game doesn't really know what to do with, and it takes out the character customization for 90% of the human characters because of that. So this game, and as a whole, isn't really that great. As I put it before, if you own the Symphonia collection, love the original game, you might want to hop into the sequel. It's not the world's worst RPG, but if you're looking for a good RPG on its own, I would not recommend getting this game. It just pales in comparison to its predecessor and pales in comparison to most of the Tales franchise. Anyways, thank you for listening to this video. If you want, you can click on one of these two thumbnails. The subscribe button will, of course, let you subscribe to my channel and let you see some more of my content. I do reviews, I do editorials, I do kind of this weekly guide where I go through all the digital sales and tell you which ones I think might be good picks, as well as look at the virtual console each week. That's something I do. The other thumbnail will let you see what I think of this game's story and why I think it stinks. I'll warn you though, it's an in-depth look at this game's story, so there's going to be tons of spoilers. So just beware, if you click that link, I will ruin quite a bit of the game's story for you. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. This is Tommy the Keyblade Master signing out.